Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Do you want to know what it is? You can feel it when you go to work, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and leave whenever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Nothing more.
welcome to King James Bible University, Precept Mastery. I'm Elder Michael Johnson with the Lost Sheep of Israel. And today, before we get cranked up with the Romans, I want to make sure a couple of things is perfectly clear to what we're going to be moving forward on, and making sure that things is going to be operating differently. Based on what yesterday was, and based on what's been going on already with YouTube, we decided to change courses and do things a little bit different. Based on what was going on yesterday, yesterday was more of a precept spiritual teaching, but the main thing is it was going in depth and showing you things actually more behind the scenes on actually how stuff actually operates. And doing that, I had clearance for the video, but whatever they decided to do, they decided to block the video, but then they wanted to play games with me. Why they did that, I don't know. However, I want to also show you guys, because and most people who are actually been in my personal class, they know I'm pretty upfront, and I'll show you, it's nothing to be hidden. But I want to show you these things to where you can understand exactly where I'm coming from. So what I want to do is show you this, and let me pull this up, and I'm gonna switch over there to where you can see it, and then we'll continue to talk. So basically, what's going on over here, if you can see this, is letting you know yesterday when I did the teaching on the God of Israel anointed. Now I showed you that yesterday. And you see right here where they blocked it, and they're calling it's a copyright claim. All countries affected. So what they did, even where we run another backdoor to where we go out to a lot of other mediums, they blocked that. And they saying, the same thing what they was doing. Now, what they also did, now if you notice, we had a little bit over 300 people, 200 people going. But however, they allowed more than 1,300 people to actually view this video. And they took it down, put it back up, took it down, put it back up, took it down. They was playing this game. And you see down here, it tells you also right here. It's letting you know clearly they were blocked it. They blocked this video. It's telling you right up front they blocked it. Now, as they blocked it, they made it harder for people to get to the video based on things that was going to be brought out in the video, or they anticipated what will be said. And actually, I need to get this other part on there to where I know what you guys also need to see. So I need to get that part up there. So 1 second, let me get this part up there. And what I want to do, let me see. I got so what we did do. And I always, and me and one of my elders, me and him spoke about this all the time. And what was going on is that, they mess with me quite a bit about things to irritate me. I get it. I get it, and I continually push forward. And so as I continually do that, we continue to just move forward on what we're doing. And for what they decide to do that for, I really think that they're trying to keep you guys from seeing actually a lot of the truth on what's going on according to the Word of God. So the main thing is they find ways to irritate you. They find ways to do certain things. So over that time, we have put up another platform, and that other platform is over on Vimeo. Now, I do know some people went over there to see it, because actually the video over there was seen, I think, almost more than 2,000 times already. But the thing is where I know people, which I'm going to show it to you, which people, I think they're more hesitant to join it, to join Vimeo. Because I know you go over there, it has, pricing and all this stuff. But what I want to do, I want to make sure I got that over there to where I want you to be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. And the main thing is, let me push you back over there to where I can show it to you. And to where we can all be on the same page all the time. And I want to sit there, and I want to bring you over to this. So if you go over to Vimeo, this is where we're going to be live from now on. what we're going to do, if you come to YouTube, we're going to push the videos up after they're recorded. We're going to still post them there in YouTube. However, live is going to be shown here. Now, what people were worried about was this, it's a pricing deal, but we are engulfing that. So that's why you'll see where we pay for that. So when you come over here, you're not paying anything. It's not something where they do Patreon where you come over here and you got to pay for it. We're not doing that to you. We refuse to that because the Word of God. We refuse to that because the Word of God to be fed on every Sabbath day is no charge to you whatsoever. So we never changing that. But the thing is, so if you want to, you can come over here because you can see it's very few people over here right now. It's only 83 people. But the thing is more makes sense for you to join here now and even let your people know if they want to see the live videos to come here. Because this is where the live videos is going to be. When I do live teachings, they're going to be here. When we do the live ones for Romans, they're going to be here. When we do the live ones for the weekly Israelite, it's going to be here. When we do the Sabbath day teaching, they're going to be here. And once they complete it here, certain ones will be uploaded back to YouTube for people, then they can review, because we cannot afford for YouTube to carry that kind of weight or that kind of power over us to pick and choose on how they want to play with us. And as I said, you won't get no commercials over here. And you can see this video is actually right here. The video of yesterday is showing right here. And you can go right here, right now, and you can actually see the video. So if you missed it yesterday, you can go in here. And the crazy thing is once you're able to go in here, you won't get like the YouTube commercials. You won't get all that. You won't get all that fluff that they get. You don't get all this crazy stuff that they do. You mainly just get what we do. That's it. So it's better if when you get a chance, you can go over there. You can also get they have an app, the same thing. You can go over there, get the app to where you have it on your phone, and you can do everything the way you need to. And this is what it allows you to do. So it's easier to do that, and it's simpler for us to do that. And they have done, I'm talking about so many things to us. I'm talking about YouTube have done many things, but we continually move forward. The only reason I put up with it because over the long haul, it was irritating to me, but I continued. But once they sit there and they took down everybody at that time to where they said that I violated the copyright. And if it violated, I wouldn't even be on here right now if I violated it, because then I'm one that they could not be trusted at this time, and it'd go over time. Two, I wouldn't. They would have actually removed all my stuff, because if you go look in previous videos, you'll see we have clips of everybody in there. We use those things, and it's mainly for illustration purposes to teach you and showing you what the truth is. That's what we use them for. Not to sit there to try to promote our site to come into more people. We don't do it for that. We do it for teaching purposes. No other reason. So they knew it. They knew it was front, but they decided to do what they do. So we moved it over there. And what I'm asking everybody, if you want to continue to see our videos, and based on live, if you want to see recording, fine. You can stay right here and you can catch our recordings. But all live videos will be running over there. That's where they are, because this is one of the last ones you will kind of be seeing over here. I might do a couple more, but letting you know you need to go over there, because I'm going to go over there. I'm going to let you know here, but I'm going to end up going over there and then just show you that way we're going to be doing it live, because I cannot take that kind of a chance. And again, you're not being charged over there. It has pricing over there, and it has a monthly thing that's being paid there. And the same thing, I can go back over there again to even show you what's going on. And basically what people, when they look at, is letting you know we have a premium account. So with that premium account, it allows us to deliver to you. And let me go over here to these premium, so it allows us to stream to you, But the main thing is it's showing you everything that's here. So these accounts don't allow you to stream live. This one allows us to stream live to you. So we rather take the hit and to let you see live video than to sit there to otherwise not just end up just take. We prefer to let you see it live because many times people have questions which I can take care of online live than sitting there sending you a recording. Then people have to send many emails or send many texts in different ways, or they try to post comments in the videos for you to answer. They try to do those things. It's a lot easier for us to answer them live while we're online. So we take the hit, and we've been doing this, we do it over here. And even right now, you can actually even go over there right now. You can even see this video over there right now on Vimeo Live. So you can do those things. Now, everything else, we will put some things to where we might look at also putting it on Facebook to where it'll run on Vimeo and Facebook. And what we want to do, we try to make it to the simplest platform possible for you to see what we do, to where you can get the word and you don't have no issues, because that made no sense. It's the same way. You take it to the same level as they came in and they bombed the church. It's no different than what they did. I'm talking about the same identical thing. There's no difference in it. And it's based on something to which was a false truth. Because if I didn't have the right, they literally would have taken it down. Actually, it would have been down over on Vimeo also. But we don't have no issues there. And this is the problem that YouTube is actually policing, in which they've been watching what I was doing for a while. However, it's certain things that I guess they don't want out. So since they don't want them out, they chooses to take this avenue, and which to me it was beneath everything, and it was wrong for them to be doing this. So just letting everybody know, if we got so many people on here right now, the best thing for you to do, go to Vimeo. You go to Vimeo, Vimeo.com, and put a /KJBU, and you're going to go land right on the homepage of us. And if you don't go there, and actually I'm going to end up putting it in here. Let me put it in here. In that thing, KJBU. And this is the one, and I just put it in there. That's where you want to go, and that's where you can actually sign up. And and the same thing, they have a chat system which we can open up or close out, same thing. So it's no different, but the easier platform is that one. But more people was over here to where we just did it out to the mass. But we actually going to be removing from here, and the only thing going to be here is recordings. And then if they want to take down the recording, they can take down the recording. If they want to let the recording go, they can let the recording. I can care less at that point what they do with it, because the live part is what we more focused on. So those are the things that we're going to be doing. In the same, I'm trying to make sure that I got all those taken care of in the locations and what they was blocking, because if you didn't get a chance also that you might have missed the taping of yesterday, you can actually go to Vimeo. You can see the entire video. The entire video, and it's under the same thing. And actually, they completely blocked it over here today. It was still up as of yesterday, because a couple of people were still looking at it. But for whatever reason, they decided to do certain things. They completely blocked it as of this morning. But I'm gonna delete that video, and you can see the entire video over here anyway. So this is why we're doing it in that fashion. So futurely, you're gonna see us come on here and letting you know live to come over there, because the teachings will be over there. So now if you end up forgetting or whatever, and you sit here waiting on something live, now this is going to end up being on you, because this is literally letting you know, and we're going to put out other little videos showing you We are moving live videos there. All tapings will be here. So if you end up sitting here on something thinking it's going to be live, then that's going to be on you guys. So with that said, we're going to move forward and we're going to get ready for what was going on with Romans. And let me get Romans set and what was going on with that one, because we need to take care of Romans. And as I said, Romans also will be over there. So if you end up coming over here, especially next week, looking for Romans to be here, Romans will not be here. Romans will be uploaded later, but I might just keep it over on KJBU side to where you can look at it, or I might keep it over there. It depends, but I know all the Sabbath day teachings I will be putting over here. Those we're going to upload, and it'll be after we do the live taping, and then later on that evening or that next day, we're going to upload, the ones for that teaching for the Sabbath. That's how we're going to be doing it. So what we're going to do, we're going to pick up from last week, and let me see, and I believe that's everything that I think we have. And now I'm just trying to get these, I'm just setting up the Bible, and I need to get the Romans set up to where we can actually go through Romans. So now let me pull these over to where we can have that going. And I have this. I'm trying to make sure. Let me see. Trying to make sure. There we go. That we have Romans all set up. So we have that set up. So now, from last week, we had left off at Romans chapter 3, verse 13, which we're going to look at and see what was going on there. And as we go through it, we're going to get some understanding on what we need to be doing. So with that said, let's kick into the lesson. Let's get started, and let's start going through it and start tearing down a little bit more what Paul was speaking about and what was going on. So we need to look at that, and we're gonna go through it. So let's pick this up, and we're going to look at this. So last week, as we was going through Romans, we seen here on some important things that went on. And in verse 13 it says, their throat is an open sepulcher. With their tongues they have used deceit, the poison of apes, in under their lips. So it's saying the same thing, like just being a snake about what they're doing. So why is it even saying it in this format? Why is it even saying it in that format? One, in which we all need to understand first why it was doing that, but then how can we more so change from being the way that Paul is saying on this here. So we have to look at the whole thing as a whole, because it's going to take us directly into verse 14, which we're going to pull in, and which takes us all together in the complete part of this. So it says, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Whose mouth is full of cursing? Whose mouth is full of cursing? This tells you a couple of things. A couple of things we really have to understand is what? Our tongues is full of deceit, poison, of serpents. So this shows that they're no part of Christ. When you see people and you sit there, as Paul been saying, that as we seen in chapter 1, 2, and as we came into 3, how you have to remember all what he had previously said. That he was saying that we were sitting there and we knew the law. We know all these things. We was holding on to these things. We was acting like we know everything. But you have, even today, you have people whose mouth is full of cursing. Full. How is that true And they sitting there, they telling you that they are something else of God. They'll cuss you out in a heartbeat. How is that true? So let's look at this as a whole. We need to understand what he's actually saying. So we're gonna go to Mark. Let's go to Mark chapter 14. And don't worry, we're gonna write these in. I promise you. We're gonna go to Mark chapter 14, and we're gonna go to verse 70. We're gonna stop down at verse. We're gonna go to verse 70. We're gonna stop down at verse 70 to find out what is actually happening. It says, even with Peter. See, these are actually, I'm going to go up, but we want to see what was going on and why Peter did what he did to just get the whole full understanding on what goes on. It said, we're going to look at verse 63 and we're going to move down to where we can see in verse 70 what was the final reactions of all this. And it says, then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, what need we further witness? Ye have heard blasphemy. What think ye? And that all condemned him to be guilty of death. Why? Because he's sitting there talking about he was the Son of Man sitting on the right hand and the power of God in the heaven of the clouds. And they tripping on him. So he said, again, so, and some began spirit on him, and some began to spit on him and covered his face. This is what we do. Some began to spit on him and covered his face. They buffeted him. They were striking him in the face and say to him, prophesy. And the servants did strike him with the psalms or with the palms of their hands. And as Peter was beneath in a place, there come one of the maids, a high priest. So one of the maids of the high priest seen him. But the thing is, Peter was watching in what was happening. He was beneath in the place. And when she saw Peter warming himself, she looked upon him and said, and thou also was with Yahushua in Nazareth. And this is the problem. But he denied, saying, I know not, neither understand of what thou sayest. I know not, neither understand what thou sayest. And he went out into the porch, and the cock crew. This is the problem all the time. Because we have people that's out there that teach right on the streets, and they use a certain thing. And it says in verse 69, it says, and the maid saw him again and began to say to them that stood by, this is one of them. This is one of these. This is one of these that was with this man that you guys are spitting on and striking. This is him. This is him. He was with this man. And he denied it again. And a little after they stood by, said again to Peter, surely thou art one of them, for thou art a Galilean, and so one, you're a Galilean, and you're a Galilean, and thy speech agreeth thereto. Even your speech giving you away. You talk just like him. You talk just like him. So the only way he can show this separation is what? He began to curse and to swear, saying, I know not this man whom you speak. He know not this man whom you speak. So again, we have a problem. Because in here, your mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. We're going to deal with the bitterness in 1 second. But the main thing, the cursing is there. Now, the craziest part is you have people showing you their separation on who they are. And we will sit and be permitted to listen and to take it in. And thinking that this is being permitted. And he's telling you clearly their mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. It's clear. Clear as day. But it goes on. When their mouth is that, and then it goes on. But then their mouth is full of bitterness, which is nothing more. Bitterness is nothing more, right here, nothing more than jealousy of lust. Nothing more than jealousy of lust. Nothing more. How do we know? Because when you're dealing with bitterness, you're having people who have this jealousy, and then they felt that they being dealt with and they getting the short hand of the stick. How? Because when you're dealing with bitterness, you have people who will deal with you on different levels, and you will feel bitter. It's the same as if you have a sister and a brother, or you have two sisters, and one you treat different and you treat the other one highly esteemed, and you treat the other one just normal. That will make the other sister jealous or make her bitter based on how she was being treated. Same with the boys. Let's look at something. We're going to use this as a precept to understand more what's going on. We're going to go to Ruth to understand what Ruth is talking about, to help us understand what bitter is happening here. So we're going to go to Ruth, and we're going to go to Ruth chapter 1. We're going to pick it up at verse 20 to get a better understanding, and we're going to find out a couple of things. And now we'll see in verse 20. And first, let's look at verse 19. We're going to look at 19 because it says, and the two went until they came to Bethlehem, and it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the city moved about them, and they said, is this Naomi? See, they asked me, is this Naomi? But that's not the point I want you to be focused on. Because that's not, we're going to use that. But we need to use the part in verse 20. See, it says, and she said unto them, call me no more Naomi. Don't call me Naomi no more. Call me Mara. For the Almighty have dealt very bitterly with me. Now, most people miss this, and you'll look over it. Why are you looking over this? You shouldn't have looked over this, because we're looking now more so at the spiritual side, and this is how she's talking to them, because she's saying things on what the names mean and not what you see as Naomi, because she's telling you clearly, don't call me Mara. It's telling you the functioning of what those words are, the functioning of what those words mean. So this is the problem that we have when we come and we read scripture, and our biggest thing is not understanding the affiliations or what something means, because he only speaks in here on what he means and not telling you something what you see on the surface. Meaning what? Naomi means what? Beautiful. So she's saying clearly, call me no more beautiful, but call me Mara, call me bitter. That's what she was saying right here. Because Naomi means beautiful, but Mara means bitter. The functioning of these words. So when they went there, she said, call me no more beautiful. Call me bitter. For the Almighty have dealt very bitterly with me. Why? Because she lost her husband and she lost her two sons. She lost her husband. She lost both sons. How are you going to call me beautiful? How are you going to call me beautiful? See, you remove the name and know what it means. Because when you know what it means, you can be more how you have these idiots out there teaching what they want to tell you. They English speaking people, they want to teach you Hebrew, which is silly within itself, or Greek within itself, and then they it's more deeper, it's deeper and deeper. You know, you got to go deeper into this, into the word. When you know the Hebrew, it shows you the very fabric. That, you know, they tell you the silliness. When you know what the affiliations and you know what it's saying, you know what it means, and you know what he's saying. So all you do is flip it around. So when you say, and he said unto them, call me not beautiful, call me bitter. Now, the difference is this. You understand it better there than if someone tried to sit there and try to teach you a whole nother program. Using names and what they mean, you getting the characteristics and the functioning of the name. So knowing the beautiful to bitter, the same as cursing, the characteristics of what cursing means, not the word itself. You need to know the functioning of the words in cursing and everything else. Bitter is one of the same as being jealous, as I said earlier. We're gonna don't worry, we're gonna put these precepts in there the way you're gonna really keep this to where you can understand it, but we have to understand how these are laid out. We're gonna look at another one. We're gonna look at Genesis chapter 27. We're gonna go down to verse 34 to understand how this stuff works out. 34, and it says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with exceeding bitter cry. Exceeding bitter cry, and said to his father, bless me, even me also, my father. See, because he cried out so bitterly, jealous because of a birthright he actually didn't care about. But now he wanted that blessing. He wanted that blessing enough. Now, as he told his brother, what is it worth to me? I'm at the point I'm going to die. He was acting like he was starving to death. Then once he ate and left, tell you how much he didn't care about that. He was only using that as a perception to tell his brother, hey, I just want something to eat. Now I have eaten, I'm good. But we're going to tell you what, we made a deal, but I'm going to break the deal because I still want that blessing that Dad and Father are going to give us. So he got bitter because the blessing went to his brother. Another example, we're going to look at Esther. And Esther shows another good example on how we see this. Esther chapter 4 and verse 1, it says, when Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry. Why? Why? Mordecai went out, and now we're seeing the other little change in functioning on how you can see the same difference between bad and bad. You can sit there and say, you know, this guy, he can play basketball. He's a bad man. And you can understand and say, well, I'll tell you what, he's really good at what he does. Bad. You know, they'll sit there like, you know, Muhammad Ali, man, he was a bad man in the ring. He was very good in the ring. But now we can sit there and turn the same way and say, Jeffrey Dahmer is a bad man. You knowing that means in another connotation on not the same thing as what you were saying with Muhammad Ali. It's not saying the same thing. Telling you something completely different. So this is a bitter of type of an anguish on how you have to see. So because we know that Haman was plotting to exterminate all the Jews. So the same way he went out with the bitter cry and anguish, in nothing more than sorrow or a cry of bitterness. That's why it's telling you, and he already laid it out on what he did. He put on sackcloth with ashes, and he rent his clothes. So we know he was in a sorrow mode. It's telling you ahead of time on what happened. So he went out and had a bitter and loud cry. See, you have these different things when you want to look at it. Actually, we're going to look at another one. I'm going to show you even a better illustration. When you have this anguish, what happens? Let's go to Exodus. And don't worry, we're going to put these in there. We're going to go to chapter 1 and verse 14. And let's look at what's going on. Now we know 13 even do, but 14 we're going to focus on. It says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor. So now we know they serve with rigor. They made them do this very harshly. Bitter, in anguish. That's oppressive or enslavement by the Egyptians, of what they were doing. Watch verse 14. It says, and they made their lives bitter. You see that? So when they served with rigor, that made their lives bitter. When they served with rigor, it made their lives bitter. When they serve with rigor, they make their lives bitter. With hard bondage. With rigor. How? In mortar. With rigor. And in bricks. Rigor, hard bondage. By doing what? In mortar and in bricks. And in all manner of service in the field. All manner of service in the field with rigor. Made their lives bitter. You see how you can move this around and you completely getting what's going on? And it says, all their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor, made their lives bitter. With hard bondage. Comma. Why I'm able to take pieces and can take it around and show you what's going on. See, and these ain't the only ways that when you see bitter operates in many different facets and tools in which we got to see. Let's look at another one. Let's go to Job, because you need to understand where he's pulling this stuff and how he's coming up with these understandings. And we look at Job chapter 13, verse 26. Because when we go outside the Bible to try to get the understanding, we're going to always find that we're going to come up with something false. But when we find in the Bible what it's talking about, we can get it better. And in verse 26, it says, for thou writest bitter things against me. So now you having where they wrote bitter things against him. Meaning what? If it's bitter, it can be slander, boisterous slander in writings. They have writers bitter things against me and maketh me to possess the iniquities of my youth. Lying on you on paper. Even today, you even have that operation the same identical way today. Meaning what? They'll sit there and write bitter and evil things about anyone to slander your name. To just slander you. Even though it's not true. Why? Because they're bitter. They have a bitter anguish towards you. Bitter. Bitter can be in all these different facets in what we're talking about. You have people today they taking people to court behind what? They have slandered me in the public's eye. Bitter. they will lie on you, and they want to presume that to be true. Let's look at one more. We're going to look at one more. We're going to go to James to just find out bitter. What is this bitter and how do it works? James chapter 3. Go down to verse 12. It says, can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Think about that. He's asking you clearly, can a fig tree bear olive berries? And we know that's not true. We know it can't. So no. And I ask you, see, some people will sit there, is that a trick question? No, it's not a trick question. We asking a straight, direct question, yes or no. Can a fig tree bear olive berries? No. Either a vine, figs. Can it do it? See, people want to sit there, well, I don't know, well, you know, with technology, see, they want to go into these silly games. You get these silly games. And when you get these silly games, this is what happens. So either the vine going to produce either the grapes or what's coming of it, but it's not going to produce figs. So he's telling you this because he wants to show you the comparisons on what something can happen, on what cannot happen. Meaning what? Let's move forward. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh? It's impossible. If it's salt water in there, it's going to be bitter, is what this actually is saying. And can no salt water bear fresh water? One is going to take over the other. So Paul is saying overall, did not Peter curse to show that he was going to save himself? The same way. Whose mouth was full of cursing and bitterness. His mouth was full of cursing and anguish. His mouth was full of this thing here and knowing it was nothing he can do. But he slandered. These things we have to remember what is going on. So let's remember what we do here and how things function and what we need to be doing. So let's put these in there. We're going to, 1 second, let me put in Mark. We're going to put in Mark 14, 70 through 71. We're going to put in Ruth 1 and 20. And what are those we have? We have Genesis. And we have 27, 34. We have Esther 4:1. Let me start down here. And we have Exodus 1:14. We have Job 13:26. And we have one other one. We have James 3:12 through 14. And make sure you save it. Make sure you save it. And it goes more. He goes more. He's digging into this more. He said, their feet are swift to shed blood. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Their feet is quick to shed blood, to divide you from the flesh and blood, or to shed your life. It's all the same. And you could just put this in here where when you see in what it actually says. That's what it's actually saying. Because life is in the blood. So that's technically all that's saying. Life is in the blood. These are the things that we know. Let's go down to verse 16. And it says, destruction and misery are in their ways. Destruction and misery are in their ways. So now he's being real short and blunt to the point. Destruction is what? Destruction means there's no covering. So we're gonna put some understanding. And this just keep this here. Keep that there. Just so long as you know that and you know what's going on. But now we're going to look at an example to where we can understand what that actually saying. We want to understand always what it's saying. So let's go back to Job. And we're going to also use it as our precepts to where we can understand that verse. We want to understand clearly what Paul is trying to convey to us. That's the point all the time. So we're going to go to Job 26 and verse 6. It says, hell is naked before him, and destruction have no covering. No covering. So when you look at this, if destruction has no covering, is what we're saying here, we have a problem. Because we go out and we look for covering and we think we having covering with the Most High. But when we out to do wrong, you have no covering. Why? Because hell is naked. Hell is sin. Why? Because hell is naked. Hell is sin. That's all it's saying. Hell is sin before him. And destruction have no covering. This is all he's saying. Let's look at it. Let's look at one a little bit closer. We're going to go to Job chapter 28, and we're going to pick it up at verse 22. And it says, destruction and death say, destruction and death say, have we heard the fame thereof with our ears? You didn't hear it. You didn't hear it, because if you heard it, you would have known what was going on. But destruction and death, because that's where it's going to get you, death. Destruction is going to guarantee you death. Guaranteed. The way destruction and misery are their ways. Death is what you guaranteed to get. Death is going to come your way. Job 3:12. No, sorry about that. Put the wrong one in there. Job 26. 6 and 28:22, and make sure you save it. Make sure you save it. Make sure you save it. So what do we have here? So it's telling you in the verse 17, which is clearly what's going on with Paul, because Paul poured all this information from locations to get you to the main point. verse 17. See, because it's saying, and the way of peace have they not known. Why? Because destruction has no covering. You didn't have ears to hear, as what you see in Job 28:22. This is where Paul pulling all this from. What we're doing is getting Paul language in what verses he's using it to convey this to us. Because even here, in the way of peace, they have not known. He's literally repeating the same thing on what was said even in Isaiah. Let's look at this. We're going to go to Isaiah, and we're going to see where Paul got this from. 59. Why? Because he's got to repeat things to where you know if you have the ways and you pulling it, everything was going on. It says, their feet run to evil because we have no covering. And they make haste to shed innocent blood. Look at this. Understand, their feet run to evil, no covering, and they haste to shed innocent blood. Innocent blood. What is it? What is this saying he's been saying all the time? What is he saying all the time? This is what we're trying to see what Paul is saying. But remember, the way of peace they have not known. The way of peace they have not known. So let's finish out. And it says, the way of peace they know not. Where do you think Paul getting this from? Paul is, and actually, I'm sorry, it's 7 and 8, but Paul is telling you right up front, right where he got it from. That's why he speak to them who actually really study the book. Because if you study the book, when he says stuff, you already know what he's talking about. Their feet run to evil and make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of sin, iniquity, wasting the destruction in their past. The way of peace they know not, and is no judgment in their goings they have made. They crooked paths, whatsoever goeth therein shall not know peace. Not know peace. Not even know peace. The way of peace they have not known. You think Paul just makes this stuff up? People really believe Paul just makes this stuff up. Let's look at a little bit more. We're going to go to Jeremiah. In Jeremiah, he speaks a little bit more where he didn't pull some more information, and he's pulling it from these prophets. So we're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 14. And he makes it clear. He says, they have healed also the hurt of the daughters of my people slightly. Slightly. You see that? Slightly. Slightly. They have healed the Israel slightly, saying peace. Peace when there is no peace. Meaning what? They will do things to you that you've seen them do. And then later they'll sit there and say, we have sinned. Can y'all forgive us? And most people forgive them. Well, they will slightly. But there's still no peace. 15. Were they ashamed when they have committed abominations? Were they? Were they ashamed when they committed abomination? No. Nay. They were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. So you stay clicked up with those sinners. You stay clicked up with those ones committing abominations, you're going to fall among them. You're going to fall right along with them. That's why Paul says, remove thyself. Get out the way when they sitting there thing, going to fall. And if you're in the vicinity, you're going to be part of the accident. At all time that I visit, them shall be cast down, saith Yahweh. And he's the one doing it. Do they have any shame in their game? No, they're not ashamed. The Bible telling you when they commit these things, they don't have no shame about it. They'll sit there and look at you and squeeze that cockroach head, that sea roach. They'll squeeze his head and try to suck all the butter that they done boiled him in. Like it's cool. These are things that you look at, that we be part of. Are they ashamed of doing this? No. They're not ashamed of doing this. Why? Because they call it a way of peace, and they have not, and they know not. They don't even know it. So this is our problem all day today. And many of us, 59, 7 and 8. We have Jeremiah 6, 14 and 15. This is where he pulled this from. This is where he's pulling this from. These are things we need to know, and if we're going to be getting into different parts of this, we need to make sure that we understand what these, what Paul is talking about, to where we can understand clearly when he's conveying this to us, that can come back to our memory, because we already done pre-read it. But what they want you to do, they want you to go right to the New Testament, or read the New Testament. How can you know what's going on there if you don't know what was already being said? Makes no sense. So we got to pick this up back up on verse 18, picking it up next week. Make sure that you save your document to where you can go into it, because if not, you will have some issues there, and we're going to go through it. But the main thing is, right now, if we have any questions on those couple of verses that we went through, those 4, I believe we went through 4 verses. Let me see. Yeah, we went through 4 verses. If you have any questions on it, I'm more than welcome. We can take them right now to where we can go through it. If not, we're going to pick this up again, and then I know we'll be getting ready for this Tuesday for the written communication class, and to make sure that you'll be able to be prepared for that for the students that is in that class. But other than that, right now, if we have any questions on the Romans, please, you can post it in here in the comment area, in the comment section right now, in the chat section, to where I can address it, to make sure we'll be clear on moving out through this before we close out. So I'm going to give you a minute or so to where we can sit there and see if there's anything there. And if nothing is there, then we'll actually end up closing out. But right now, we see nothing. So we're pretty good on that. We're pretty good on that. And I don't see any comments there. But as I said, for the following and permanently, we will be moving all live videos to this location. All live videos will be moving to that location. All tape videos that we choose to put up over here will be over here on YouTube. So, and I appreciate it. So far everybody's all clear on it. That's good. That's good. So what we're going to do is so since we have no questions, we can move forward on it, and then Tuesday we're going to pick it up on the written communications. We're going to go through that, and that'll be live. That'll be back in KJBU on the backside. And if anybody have any questions on that, we do have one class that we're getting ready to crank up on, which we will be taking people on that one, and then we'll be moving forward on that. You will start everybody who registered for the Passover. You should start receiving emails probably later on this week. And as I said, Passover is only given out to people who actually are Israel. If you're not Israel, you will not be given a code to get in, because we hold strictly to the Bible on that. So, and I don't let people in just because. So those goes that way. So only people that will be able to come in is Israel. And I'm still trying to get the book of Joshua through you. Okay, so if you're trying to get it through me, how do you get it through me? So did you do it through Cash App? Because if you can do it through Cash App, and you put your email in there, then what we do, we request your address. And that's to Anthony Pryor. But that's how we normally do it. Or you can send it. I put that in there. You can send it, let me see. Send it to Precept. Yeah. LA Publishing. C Box 1261 91709, and just send it right there. See, if you paid through Cash App, then you should be receiving it. If you paid through Cash App, you should be receiving it. And you want to sign up for Passover, just make sure. I'm gonna go back and check once I leave here, and in about an hour, I'm gonna make sure certain people, such as with you, Nikita, I make sure that you guys are signed up. And but the main thing is, if you guys so we'll see. But you might have went through. Actually, I can check this other part. You might have went through it on this other week to what might have went out. So 1 second, I'm checking this now. And I'm gonna see. Let's see for Pryor. Let's see for yours. We'll see what's happening. And Pryor. Actually, Pryor, I don't even see you on here. I'll tell you what you do, Pryor. Email me with your phone number, please. Because I'm looking on the thing right now. I don't even see you on here. But I'll make sure you get what's due to you. Because I do not see you on this list here. Yeah, I don't see you on this list. If you're under the same name I'm looking at right now, Anthony Pryor, I don't see you on this list. But I will make sure, email me your phone number. Just email it to me, and I'm gonna call you. And I'm gonna make sure you have what's due to you. I take care of that. So because I literally don't see you on that list. Because I have a list that we have, and I don't see you actually on it. So, but I will make sure that's taken care of. So that's no problem. So please, email me with your phone number, and I'll take care of it from there. Because actually, I'm gonna call you probably within the hour. And now we have everything else, as far as registered now with Brother Matthew. Brother Matthew, I thought you was already registered. If not, I'll find out, but I'll make sure you're taken care of. But then the same thing is, we have a lot of people that's not part of it that watch it. There's no disrespect there on anyone. However, that we only had the Passover only to them that is Israel. And that pretty much is how we actually work it. So with that, Brother Matthew, I will make sure I get in contact with you. And Brother Anthony, send me and give me send it here. Yeah. Just send it there, but put your phone number in there. I need you to put your phone number in there. Those you have to put in there. And then the same thing with the fringe kits. They actually know they're going to be kind of backlogged, so what they're trying to do is make sure they bulked up before they even put them out. Because they actually have them already. But we just want to make sure that we bulked up because people are going to be ordering free ones, and we don't know how many are going to order the paid ones. So they're trying to make sure they bulked up because they know a lot going to be going out. And that's all that is. So with that, I believe that we are all taken care of. And again, yesterday was yesterday, and it was really different. Made it a little bit difficult for us to do things, but one thing, the Most High is going to always prevail through it, and we continually push through it. So same thing, next week we will be going, and I believe you are, Sister Karen, I believe you are registered. If not, you have my number, and I know you can call me. And if not, I'll call you. But I do know you should. I believe you are registered. So if not, call me. Just call me later on today anyway, to where I can make sure, because I haven't talked to you in a while. And then, but everybody else, just make sure. If you registered for the Passover, what's going on? But as I said, we have no disrespect towards anyone. But however, we don't sit there and make. We don't make caveats or anything else for anybody else just because. I don't do that. So the same thing, the people who registered for Israel for the Passover, knowing they Israel, you shouldn't have no problem. The ones that's not, you shouldn't have a problem because it actually runs that way. So with that, it looked like we got all the questions actually taken care of. So we will be going through with the end of this. So everybody else who's actually part of the written communications, we will be picking this up on Tuesday. With that, I say to each and every person, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, which everybody have, and most people going to still see it as the first day of the week. So enjoy the rest of your day. And until then, I say to each and every person, hey, shalom.